Alright, so this is going to be my commentary over the game that I just played. It was a very solid game by me. Gold 1, I know that's not super impressive. I feel like I should be higher. I think it's, what is it called, platinum above this. Anyways, I felt like this was a really good game. This is competitive, obviously. I don't know. I was hitting my shots very consistently. Just a good match overall. Not a whole lot to say about it other than it was just a really good match. We won, which is good. My damage was crazy. My KD was great. I got it's a high kill game. I dropped 40 kills this game. Did significantly better than anybody else did on the other team. I'm not too good with talking through gameplay and explaining everything that's going on. I mean, with me, when I play Sigma, I just try to stay alive as long as possible, and I'm trying to deal with everybody besides the tank. Zarya is a really bad matchup for me. Almost every time I play Zarya, I have difficulty. She is just, she is OP in my opinion. I mean, not much to say about it. Got 3 in there right there. That was a good ult by Weaver though. Yeah, it's a hard matchup because with her, man, she can pop that bubble just immediately. There's not much of a cooldown at all to it because she has 2 of them and she can just kind of string them together. Her projectile is really, I mean, of course it's a medium, close medium range, but dude, you don't want to get stuck behind that, man. It melts your health, man. Not much to say about that. She's one of my worst matchups as a Sigma, man. Another bad matchup for me is Megs, or May, as a lot of people try to call them. They're extremely difficult for me sometimes. I think it's just because of how tedious they are. It doesn't really matter if I have any sort of plan when I'm going into the game or any type of strategy. If I see a Meg, most likely I'm going to single them out just because I can't stand going up against them. I want to get them out of the game as soon as possible. So with Sigma's projectile is really difficult to use sometimes, and the reason I say that is because it explodes not on impact. Well, it explodes on impact and also on distance, but it's impact of a player or like a enemy object. Like if there was a shield, it would blow up on that. I'm trying to absorb, I think that's Alari's ultimate. I wasn't able to absorb it, but I got the shield and I was able to block it from everybody. I have a really high success rate when it comes to absorbing their ultimates. I've done it quite a few times. Just certain things, man, like you just can't do anything about that situation that I was in right there. You know, you just get caught and nothing you can do about it. You know, when your whole team is dead and you're the only one left, that's just very, very few times have I actually managed to survive that. But for the most part, man, it just doesn't happen. One thing I don't like about replay mode, and I'm sure I can change this feature, but I don't really want to get into it, is enemies are highlighted in blue and my team's highlighted in red. That throws me off because I use the default colors. I don't see why I would ever switch the colors. Maybe if I was early into me getting into this game, I would do it. But I mean, I'm just so used to it now, I think it would just throw me off more than anything. Their team wasn't especially good. I would say that they were okay. I mean, this is Gold 1 we're talking about. I got bumped all the way down to Gold 3 a little bit ago before I got back to Gold 1. And I mean, you'd be surprised at how competent those Gold 3 players can really be. And that was because I was DCing from a lot of matches, I was just getting pissed off, I was having bad teams, you know, certain things like that. The hardest part about Sigma, I would say, is his projectile. His projectile is not easy to use sometimes. When you're in extremely close range like that, that's actually really difficult to use it properly and to hit your shots. I know it seems like it wouldn't be, but it most definitely is. Tanks are easy to get sometimes. You just have to be able to judge people's like movements. Like, what are you gonna do? Oh, I love this part right here. You have so many people just gathered up right here. They're all walking, clustered like that. Another thing that any Sigma player should do when they're getting into him is make sure to use the area of effect damage with him. A lot of players don't use that, and I recommend doing it just because there's been you can pinpoint players' locations. First of all, like there's been so many times when there's been a player above me or behind a wall, and I couldn't go in and pursue them because I had greater matters to attend to. So what I would do is I would just use my projectile, shoot it at them, and then the AoE would pinpoint their location, so that would reveal to me if I got a hit marker that they were still there. Now most of the time they don't even know where they're getting hit by, so you can shoot your projectile 2-3 times and it doesn't do as much damage as a direct hit, I don't think. Right here I had everybody group up with me, just because I mean I was by myself. I wasn't gonna go in there and just get mauled to death. Especially because I don't want to say that I was necessarily carrying this team. They were somewhat competent, but I mean compared to the rest of these players, man, I mean they weren't even close. I mean their kill. I would say that the DPSs were definitely doing their job as far as the kill count was concerned. I mean their kills were high. I don't even know if I can see. I'm not gonna suppress anything because I don't want it to reset the footage. But I mean, everybody had around, all the DPSs and I had around the same amount of kills. I think I had the most kills because I just popped off this game. But as far as just the kills in general, everybody did their part. I think healers did a decent enough job. When they were there, I felt like I was getting heals. Then again, sometimes it can be a little bit deceptive, just because, you know, as a Sigma, man, there's so many things you can do to keep yourself alive. Like you got obviously your vortex that you can use to recover some health. Then you got your shield, which you can use to, you know, block that incoming damage. Just so many different things that you can use, man. See, the problem with the enemy team when they're going up against the Sigma, man, is I think I got all 5 players. Yeah, I got all 5 players with that. That's crazy. Always be careful when it comes to, I think her name is Orisa or Osira, with that, because that'll actually pull you in, or ultimate. But if you cluster up against a Sigma, man, that's probably one of the worst things you can do, just because of that AoE that he has, plus the boulder that he can throw. It has a little bit of an AoE effect. It won't knock down it won't knock down an enemy. If it doesn't make direct contact with them, but it does a little bit of damage if you do. It doesn't do especially good damage if you make direct contact with them. I don't know the number per se, but even still, I don't change my tank. I'm not super. I think I'm a little bit competent with most of them, but none of them I really enjoy playing as much as a Sigma. And I'm not nearly as good as with any other tank than I am with Sigma. I played a little bit as Arya, and I couldn't bring myself to keep playing as her, just because it was just, she was an absolutely terrible, like terribly overpowered. I don't even know how to explain it. It's just such an overpowered character that I felt like it wasn't even fair if I were to play as her. That's how bad it is. Like she really needs adjusted. If you see me walking into walls, it was probably because I was checking things on my phone as I was walking over there. Yeah, you see me, I'm kind of... So there's no really... I don't have any particularly great strategy for starting off games. Normally I'm the front lines as a tank. A lot of people don't want to push up with me. That's fine. Throw a boulder. A lot of people don't expect that, surprisingly. You think they would. They just open fire, which, I mean, I guess that's the most obvious reaction. Now, a situation like this, it's good. If they all pushed up at the same time, instead of spreading out horizontally, they would have for sure gotten me. But since they kind of dispersed horizontally, I was able to deal some damage here. Now, one of the hardest parts about this game and figuring out if my teammates are competent is, in a situation like this, I can't look backwards. Like, I have to be focusing the enemy at all time. So I don't even know if my team is alive when they're behind me. And it turns out that they were, so I don't know what they were doing in that situation.
It seems I lost my
but they
balance.
weren't helping me. They weren't assisting me with that, which is something I don't understand. If my teammate is behind me, my teammates are behind me, then they should all be opening fire on people that I'm dealing with, especially since I didn't see them, any of the enemy attack my teammate. This is a particularly good point for Sigma. I feel like it's really good for shield placement. You have a great just line of sight for your projectile here. Another tip I can give Sigma players if they're ever playing: under the payload there's a little bit of space, and if enemy is behind it and they're trying to stay behind cover because they don't want you to hit them, sometimes you can hit them off from the sides with the AoE. But what I like to do is I like to dribble his projectile underneath of it. See, like, here's the case where I'm telling you, like, being at very close range like that, it's hard to hit your shots with him. Sometimes you get lucky, man, but like, so you kind of have to lead your shots to Sigma, and if you miss at close range, then there is no AoE that's going to hit them, because it already zipped past them. For new Sigma players, if you're having difficulty hitting your shots, I recommend bouncing the balls off the ground, bouncing them off the ground, and it's easier that way. I think it shortens the distance. Don't do it by a lot. Don't do it like directly 180-degree angle at the ground, but like just a little bit of an angle on it. That helped me a little bit when I did it. Good strategy. You can see her trying to res right there. I don't know if she got her off or not. I think she did. This Bridget, I don't know. It's hard for me to decipher whether or not an enemy Bridget is competent or not. I feel like almost everyone that I've gone against, they've had a good idea of what they're doing. So you can see that like pinpointing their location with the hit marker right there. Because even though they're highlighted in replay, I can't see them. So that one time I see the hit marker, so I know that they're still behind there. And my accuracy, I checked my accuracy one time this game. It was up to like 60%, which is really good. I have a pretty high direct hit accuracy too. So I feel like one of the things you want to do in order to get better with Sigma is be more accurate. I know that seems like pretty obvious, but you know, as far as it's concerned, man, I think that's like the number one way to improve with him is just get really good at using your projectiles. You know, I was actually really happy here that they were able to push the payload up to the first checkpoint, because I was having a lot of fun this game. One of my goals is to get to 30,000 damage in a game, which I have yet to do. I think my most that I've gotten in a game has been like 22 or 23,000. It isn't bad. You know, you don't see that very often, at least not in gold leagues. But I don't know. As Sigma, I feel like it's very easy to get damage. I mean, almost every time I'm getting more damage than my DPSs. In fact, I feel like if I don't get more damage than them, then I'm not doing such a good job. Now with that, being above as a Sigma, it's kind of hard to hit your shots that way. One thing that I should point out is if the AoE hits your character, it actually will do damage to yourself. I died a couple times to that actually. I tried to chase down this Mercy, I can't remember. Yeah, I get her. See that AoE, man, it has a pretty generous area of effect. Now this guy, he almost killed me actually. He didn't, luckily. No, I think I start asking for heals here. Yeah, but that rock, man, if you're too close in the radius, then you will get killed by it. You will get killed if you are low health. So, you know, be careful of that. Be wary of that if you ever are at low health. Yeah, this is Zarya. I can't say that she was especially good. I mean, as far as the damage department goes, man, she just wasn't really. She really wasn't dishing out much that I couldn't deal with. Only got one there, but that's okay. Kill Mercy. You know, you take what you can get when it comes to his ultimate. His ultimate is okay. I give it like it's satisfying sometimes. I give it like a 6 out of 10 though. You can't really clutch up with it. I mean, there are rare circumstances where you can clutch up, but for the most part, man, you're not gonna get more than like the most I've gotten with his is like been I think a 3-piece. I have a good amount of time with it, so you know, 3-piece. Not much you could do there. You get overwhelmed. My whole team was dead. But yeah, his ultimate is probably one of the weaker things about him. You know, even though his projectile is difficult to use, I wouldn't say it's bad. Damage is it's pretty good. I mean, it's not outrageously good like a Thorborn or a Torbjorn, or I don't know, like a Bastion minigun. It's just, you know, good damage. It has the AoE, so you're always going to get a lot of damage, I feel like, with his weapon. But yeah, his ultimate, man, it's just not like you can get like a 2-piece off of it if you know what you're doing. Like 2-piece is pretty good. Take what you can get when it comes to it. But I think here I just wanted to get a 40 bomb, so I started chasing them down. I wasn't thinking that they were going to get it. In fact, I thought that we actually, reviewing this footage, I thought that we got it all the way down to the end. We escorted the payload the whole way, but evidently not. So started just rushing at them. I don't know where their bob is right there. I put up the shield right there, so like their bob didn't really do anything to us at all. So you see I'm trying to dribble it underneath there a little bit, but I didn't have the right angle. So yeah, man, like your life will be so much easier as a Sigma player as long as you are accurate. Because Vortex is self-explanatory, Shield is self-explanatory. One of the biggest tips that I received when I was playing Sigma is make sure that, well, that's game. Make sure that you retract your shield and that you're using it somewhat sparingly, because if not, it's easy for them to chew through it. But yeah, that's pretty much the game. Sigma player. I really don't know how many kills I got. I wish I could look, but that's all right. Anyways, that's about it.